Hi, I'm Amanda Skelton, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you this 3D project. Now this is, well, it can be a holder for anything really, but my inspiration for making this, for my own sort of personal reasons, was to make it as a pen holder. So I wanted something to hold all my pencils, pens, ruler, bone folder, pokey tool, loads of different things, brushes, yeah, lots of different things, so that it's off my desk. So if I can hold it that way up, it takes up a lot less space. So that was my reason for doing this particular project, because I wanted to use something like this for myself. So yeah, hopefully it'll be useful for you as a pencil or a holder for all your crafting bits and pieces, or if not, it could just be a nice gift holder. You could put bars of chocolate in it or lollipops. You could then put some cellophane over it and a ribbon on the top. So this is really going to be quite a useful shape, I think. So it's quite a nice hexagon. Fairly simple to make, pretty much out of one piece of cardstock and some smaller pieces of DSP. I've put a piece of ribbon on just to make it a bit prettier. You do or don't have to do that, or you can make these panels more decorative. You can also, if you want to, make these in different heights. The same depth, same size around, and if you wanted to, you could actually glue them together and have different heights, so it would look like an even more of a desk tidy. So this is what we're going to make. So I'll show you how to make one of them, and I'll show you how you can adjust it to make different heights and add them together if you want to. Right, so what do we need? This particular colourway, I've done it because this is the colour of my craft room. This is crumb cake cardstock, but this paper is retired probably about 2 years ago now. So this isn't available, but I shall be doing it in a different colourway that's in the catalogue at the moment. So what do we need? Okay, so like I said, it's pretty simple in terms of what we need. A piece of cardstock, so I've got fresh freesia, which is from the current ink colours, the new ink colours that have come out in 2021. It's just shy of a sheet of A4 card, so this measures 11 inches by 8 inches, and you want to score it along the long edge at 1 3/4 inch, 3.5 inches, 5 1/4 inch, 7 inches, 8 3/4 inches, and 10.5 inches. So basically each one of these is 1 3/4 inches width, and then you've got a little offset there to do the join. And then you want to turn it around, and then you want to score it at 2 inches and at 7 inches. Okay, now this is where, if you want to make it higher, or well, lower really, to make extra ones that you can add together, basically you always want to keep your 1 inch, your 2 inches here, and you always want to keep 1 inch here. So whatever you want to take off, you want to take off this section. So so this at the moment is, I think it's 5 inches. So this is 5 inches high, and it measures roughly 3 inches across. So if you wanted to make a 4 inch high one, then just take 1 inch off of the whole dimensions, but still measure up 2 inches from one side and 1 inch up from the other, and then that will give you 1 inch shorter in the middle, and then everything else should be the same. What you'll also need is your pieces of designer series paper. This is Pansy Petal, and these are, I'm using this side just to keep it a bit more neutral, but there is the pansy side as well. And you'll need 6 pieces of this card to make each panel, and these need to measure 1.5 inches across by 4 3/4 inches deep. So you want 6 of those. You can have different colours and different patterns if you want. Again, just be mindful if you have a distinct up and down side, an up and down pattern. These don't, so that should be fine. And on this I can see that obviously I've got a check. Now actually I've pretty much got the same top and bottom, but if you didn't, you'd want to make sure that again they're all probably up the right way so that they match and make it look neat. Okay, so like I said, pretty simple on this. Not that dissimilar to how we'd make most boxes. So what you want to do is, let's fold all of our score lines. Right, and that's all of them done that way. And then we want to do that end and then that end. So the wider end is going to become the base here, and the shorter edge is going to become these little flaps that are going to come down just to strengthen the top and make it a really nice, strong, neat edge at the top. Okay, so on the edge where you've got your 1/2 inch fold, you want to take the top and the bottom squares out. And you can do this with your trimmer if you want to, or just a pair of scissors. It's just easy just to do it with scissors, really. Okay. And then you want to basically cut, this is on your 1 inch edge, this is going to be your top section, so you're basically going to cut your corners off into the things there. So you can, if you want to, you can just cut straight up each of the score lines and then take the corners off, or you can just do a V going into that score line. Just saves you having to do more cutting than you need to, really. There you go, and then just finish it off on the corner one there. Okay. So that's the top sections that are going to be folded over, just to make them all nice and neat. And then the bottom section, this is a 2 inch deep fold. You just want to cut up each of the lines. You don't want to take your corners off on this one, because this is going to become your base and you want it all to be nice and strong. And the straight edges are going to help you to line it up to get a nice even hexagon. Nearly there. There you go. So as you can see, you can have your square sections going across there. Okay. So what we can do now, I'm going to use my silicone sheet because I'm getting glue out and I'm always messy. What we can do now is basically stick down each of the tabs, which is going to be your top edges. So I'm using wet glue because it just tends to adhere a bit better. You can use tape if you want to. So just keep pressing those down as you go along. Get nice and close to the edges. Not that close. So again, like I say, just keep pressing them down. Okay, so that's pretty much done, I think. Give them a really nice press down. So there are your nice top corners. Okay, so what we're going to do now, before we do any of the assembling, because it'll be quite difficult to put the panels on once it's actually assembled. So we're going to turn it over. Remember that that is your top edge. If you've got a patterned paper that's an obvious way up, then make sure you've got it the right way up with these at the bottom, which are going to be your bottom, your base, and then you need your panels. So I'm going to use tape for this, just because I find it quicker. So each of your 6 sections, you just want to add them on, centre them as best you can. There you go. And then just try and keep your edges at the bottom and the top the same. Give it a nice uniform look as you turn it around. But only you will know if it's not quite lined up as you expected it to. So just nice and centred up. Press it on. So you've got 6 of these. Oh, there you go. Worried that I hadn't cut them all then. Basic maths and all that. Okay. So again, just centre it up. You could alternate the patterns if you want to, if you've got 2 sides of a DSP that you like. You don't have to have them all the same, so you can go to town on this really. Make it as decorative or as individual as you like. Right. One more to go. Oh, it's got a bit dark outside. Isn't very nice today down here. In fact, it's a perfect crafting day if you ask me. When it's horrible outside, what better to be doing than crafting inside? Okay, so that's our panels. So what we're going to want to do now is basically fold that one in, and that's going to become our join. Okay, so fold that one in so it's on the inside. Now I'm using tear and tape. Put it as close to the outside edge as you can, because that's where the join is going to be, and that will just help to keep it in place. Just going to cut that bit off there. Okay. So we want to take the protective piece off of it. Right, and the best thing I'd suggest there is, so fold that one over. Oh, if I can get my finger stuff off it. Right, and then you basically want 3 panels, is halfway. And you're basically going to fold it over, make sure this is all nice and tight there. Basically, fold it on top of it. And then you know that it's nice and flat, and you know that it's nice and even, and that that join is exactly where it needs to be. So that's probably one of the best ways, and you can get some good pressure on there to push it together. There you go. Okay. So now we have the main part of our box. Now we need to do the base. So what you want to do for this is probably take 4 out of the way. You want opposites, and each opposite is going to go together and glue. And what you want to do is then, when you put the glue on, I'm going to use wet glue again just so I can manipulate it. You want to hold both sides of the card so that it's in line, and that will allow you to make sure that you keep a really nice, good hexagonal shape. So you don't want to push it too far together, you don't want to pull it too far apart. So you just want to make sure that you keep those 2 together, and make sure, and just hold it for a second for the glue to adhere. Okay, and then what we're going to do, oh, why is that not going very well? Ooh, that's a weird shape, isn't it? Okay, it's not quite the hexagonal I was planning on, but I think it'll be okay. should. I wonder if maybe pulling it apart might be. No, I think I'm going to go with that one. But when you're putting that one on, what I'd do is I'd suggest you make sure that the next layer, actually it will go. You're going to need to force it a little bit. Actually, I wouldn't force it. Right, so what you want to do now is add a bit of glue onto this section here for this to go onto, and then you want to add some glue onto here for this one to go onto. Right, I don't quite know why that one wouldn't go together. That one went together perfectly fine. Strange. Okay, so it's going to be a slightly elongated one on this one, but that's fine, it'll work. And then I'll have a bit more glue on there for that one to stick to, and then put that one on there. You can turn it upside down. You can use your bone folder to give it a good press in there. Actually, you can even get your hand in there. It's big enough to get your hand in there. Okay, give it a good old push down. Almost looks like it was meant to be like that. Only you will know that it wasn't. But yes, it should go into a perfect hexagonal. Don't quite know why I didn't this time. It's always the way, isn't it? Okay, so what I've done on mine is I finished it off with a bow, which you can do. So I'm using the In Colour Fresh Freesia open weave ribbon, and there's about 22 inches there. And then what I'm going to do is just lay it flat. You can choose whichever panel you want to be first. You can decorate this as much as you like. So I'm just going to add this bow on. You can glue this into place if you want to. You have to manipulate it around so that the good bow goes where you want it to go. Oh, it's being a pain today, isn't it? I think I don't want that quite so big there. And then I'm going to just take off the edges, if I can get hold of it, just so it neatens up. It always needs it up to have a nice little edge on there. Now you can mess about with that and get that to turn around a bit better than I have. So there you have it. Not quite a hexagonal on this one. Again, I've got no idea why, but it should do when they go straight across. And then, yes, so I've used the Pansy Petals DSP, Fresh Freesia cardstock, and the Fresh Freesia open weave ribbon. If it had been perfectly square, or even if it isn't, there's no reason why you couldn't then get smaller ones of these, and then you could glue these sort of together, and you could actually make 3 of them if you wanted to, and because they're hexagonal, they should all fit together, so you could make different heights on there. But you can see that would be quite a nice gift box as well to put chocolates and treats in. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Interesting that mine didn't quite come out hexagonal when I did this just about half an hour before, and it did. Don't know what I did differently there. But what is probably worth doing, like I said, is making sure that when you do that, if it's not going to adjust, then I think you just have to go with it and have it slightly, I mean, it is symmetrical, so it's not a bad shape. It's quite nice, actually. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Really nice, sort of quick and easy 3D project, but I think that could be quite versatile. Like I said, you can use it for holding your pens, etc. I'll append onto the end of this my craft area before and after, so you can see how messy it was before and how tidy it's made it after. You might want to do something similar with yours. Hope you've enjoyed it. As always, I'm on Facebook, Amanda's Crafted Cards. My Stampin' Up website is www.amandascraftedcards.stampingup.net. You can find all the products on there, or leave a comment on this YouTube video. As always, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.